Hello, I'm Rachel and I'm going to show you how to make rice pudding. So I've got milk here, butter, sugar and pudding rice. I've got strawberry jam to put in it afterwards, and some people like to add spices to theirs, so you can add some spices to it if you like. Cinnamon, allspice, which is like a mixed spice, and whatever you like. But first of all, I've got a pint and a half or 700 ml of milk, which I'm just going to boil. I've put the cooker on, but I'm just going to bring it up to boil. And what I have done sometimes is I didn't quite have enough milk last time I made this, and I just topped it up with water. So I didn't use quite so much milk, but I used 2/3 milk and 1/3 water, and that also worked fine if you want to cut down the amount of milk that you're using. So that's just boiling in there. In here I've got 25 grams of unsalted butter to add in a minute, and then 50 grams of sugar in there, and then 100 grams of the rice pudding rice. So that's starting to bubble already. It's heated up nice and quickly. So I'm just going to add my butter in so that can start melting too. Give that a stir around. And I have also used long life milk before. I'm using long life milk today, or fresh milk. So again, depending on what you've got or what your preference is, you can use long life milk as well as fresh milk. That's just melting away in there. And although it's quite quick to get together, what you then do is once you've got the milk boiled and you've added the rice to it, you give it a good stir, and then you drop the temperature down just so it's on quite a low heat for about 30 to 40 minutes. And then you just constantly stir it every 5 minutes or so to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan. Okay, so my butter's melted almost. A couple of bits in there. So that's going to carry on melting as I go. So I'm going to add in my sugar, sprinkle it all in. And again, a lot of people add stuff to the top of their rice pudding, the jam, maybe a bit of Nutella and some spices. So you don't need to add extra sugar when you're making it. If you like it sweeter, obviously watch your sugar intake, but you can add it in afterwards and sprinkle it on top. I know some people like to put brown sugar on top so it goes a bit caramelly. Quite like porridge really. Okay, so that's all mixed in together now. So I'm just going to sprinkle my rice in. Give it a good stir. There we go. So I've got a lid to this pot to put on it to help it steam. If you haven't got a lid to your saucepan, just get some tin foil and wrap it over the top just to keep all of the steam inside so it cooks back into the rice. Just be really careful when you take the foil off that, because you haven't got a handle, that you don't burn yourself and there'll be a waft of steam when you come up. But yeah, it just looks like yellowy milk in there because the rice is all dissolved, it's starting to dissolve in there, and then the lid goes on. Okay, so I've just been gradually mixing my rice pudding. So if you have a look in here, you'll just see that you can start to see the rice where it's soaking up the milk and the butter and the sugar. So I'm just giving it a stir to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of the pan, and then just repeat that until all of the liquid is almost gone. Okay, so I've been stirring it every now and again. And if I just open it up and have a little look, on there you can see that the milk has just, the rice has just absorbed all that milk up and the butter and the sugar. And it still looks a little bit liquidy, but as you leave it to stand, it will harden a bit more. And also if you want to use half of it now and half of it tomorrow, you want that extra bit of liquid so that when you reheat it tomorrow, it's not really stodgy. So I'll just turn this off. This isn't a very good spoon. Let's pour it instead. If you use half of it now and reheat it, just to say you'll only be able to reheat it once in the microwave. So pour that in. There we go. And then I've just got some jam here, which you can pour on top, or you can add your spices, put your Nutella in, whatever you prefer. Ooh. There we go.
Voila.
Rice pudding with jam.